answer because she knows them personally.
Okay. It's just not an idea. You have to flesh it out. You cannot say, I am thinking of importing peony nuts from Sorsogon. Do you want to invest in me? Meaning to say, you have to go through and see to it that every little, you have to flesh it out. Okay? And then now, going through the first circle, the first circle of friends would be family and friends. Okay? But that's hard. The next circle is the bank, but that's also hard. Okay? And then the third circle are the investment banker. Now, investment banker may find it for you, but you have to pay money up front. So, now, go back to your question. Where do we find Unani? Because I have a very good idea. I don't recommend you're starting a very good idea. I recommend that you just buy a business. If you have an idea and it seems like this, and you observe it, and you're working, maybe you're working in that store, and you think I can do this better, then you buy an existing business, because then it's already got clients, it's already got income, it's already got, everything has been set out for you. And you have a plan to make it better. But to start from zero, out of 100 businesses, two or three stay on for 5 years. All the rest fail. Okay, I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth.
Just to add to that, there are a couple. So there's TrapPoint run by Pablo Sendejas, and Martin Lechaco is involved in something. There's also a couple of guys out of LA who are doing this. Eric Manunas. I just met those guys in the last 2 years. So when I raised $6 million or $150,000 before, I couldn't depend on the Filipino community. You have to really be putting yourself out there. There's no fallback. There's no real infrastructure in the Filipino community right now in place of venture capital. So I've gone to those guys for money, and they still didn't invest in my company despite some of the successes that I've had. So I would just create a network beyond that. Even in my first company, nobody was investing in women. So there were no female VCs, there were maybe 2. Now there's 12. So you can't have that feeling that you only go to people you feel comfortable with. It just doesn't work that way, especially if your business is going to be potentially a global business.
I totally agree with her. I mean, it's hard.
It was not an easy journey from being a babysitter. For my first 3 years here in the US, I started that way. To what I am now, a jack of all trades, driven by my passion to create opportunities for more and more fellow Filipinos. Through my recruitment, that's one of my business, Professional Placement and Recruitment Incorporated, I have provided employment opportunities for my countrymen here in the US. Again, I never worked as a nurse, but my business is related to medical fields. Is it good? So, for them to move to the US from the Philippines, and even people that is already here in the US, some from student visa to working visa to immigrant. Another business of mine is WeTalk. This is one of my dreams also. I am able to help fellow Filipinos here in the US, not only to work with me, but to stay in touch with their families back home at reasonable rates. Why? When I was like in my first few years here, as I mentioned, I'm a jack of all trades. I've been selling phone cards. So that's one of my dreams, to have also business like WeTalk, to have a reasonable rate. So I'm glad. WeTalk is my next business, and it's been there for the last 4 years. I don't want to stop for the next 2 years. Please, I need your support, guys. So, additionally, as most of you heard about Payag Restaurant, it was not easy to me, but it allows me to showcase our Filipino cuisine hindi ako marunong magluto. But I love to eat. One thing I love to eat. So, hospitality. That's what we are, right? And culture and arts, including Filipino furniture in a global setting. Why Filipino products? Because I'm planning to open a livelihood project in the Philippines. That's one of my big ambitions. To open a livelihood project in the Philippines. Like Payag Restaurant, as you mentioned that some of you will not get only Filipino customers. Just a trivia. Last Sunday, they came to my place on their own. No Filipinos. I'm so surprised. And who are those people? Rebecca Rangel and Jeremy O'Connell visited Payag with their 2 daughters, lovely daughters. I'm so honored. I'm so happy. I'm not around, but seeing with my employees on the pictures with them, I'm really thrilled and happy with that. So again, I'm not worried because my Filipinos are with me already. But I'm looking forward more to bring your white friends, black friends in my place. Because I need your support to survive. Because again, I don't want the next 3 years or 5 years that we're going to close. I need your support. So, Rangel and O'Connell expressed delight about our food. As I've heard, the next 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, to all of you aspiring competitors of mine, do something, be creative. Why? I've heard on the news that the next trend of the food is Filipino food, Filipino cuisine. Try to check out with it. So, not only that, as part of my concept in the restaurant, being unique, being Filipinos, they love our interior design. So, I'm glad that we have that as a Filipiniana design in my restaurant. I see that most of you are young, and like you, I felt uncertain what was next. I didn't know if you asked that question to yourself, what will happen to you the next year? What it would actually mean to be an entrepreneur. Tonight, I'm going to share with you 5 things that I wish someone had shared with me then. I wish Miss Leda Lewis was there already with me. Sorry, people say her name because she's really my mentor. 5 things that I have learned to be true based on my entrepreneurial journey. 1, choose a purpose, but always be open and courageous to seek help or redirect. Choosing a purpose is not always easy. I have dreamed of being an entrepreneur, of having my own company and being my own boss. It's really good being the boss, right? She said yes, so maybe she's one of the successful entrepreneurs here inside. So I started with a meager $1,000. Imagine, I was babysitter before. So I started with $1,000 from my personal pocket for capital. Knowing that it was not sufficient, they were right. I thought financial investment from my dear friends here in the West. I borrowed money to them. Nagpakapala ko ng mukha. So I started that way. Start with your friends and your family. Second, set and relentlessly pursue your time frames. I've learned time frames when I graduated from college. I was selling in the Philippines this encyclopedia. I had a seminar. They told me, start with the time frame. So I have to share this with you because it works with me. I had time frames in my life like every 5 years. So, from choosing a purpose is crucial for planning your business. But this is not enough. You need to create, You need to create and hold yourself accountable to a time frame, which includes a specific business milestone along the way. So think about it. Every year, try to think something, what you want to be on the next year. In my case, I make it a point to have major achievements every 5 years. Be focused, be steadfast, and be positive on your set time frame. So I hope this one will work with you, because for the last 5 years, way back in my 20s, I've been doing that way. So with that, that includes keep your faith in God and in yourself. Challenges are normal in life. Hence, it is critical to remain strong. I also believe that God gives us challenges for a reason. So I always remind myself to keep the faith. Do not be afraid as long as you think and believe that you are on the right path. So you can do it. So all of you aspiring entrepreneurs, we can do it. Third one, continue sharing your blessings. As an entrepreneur, I have been actively supporting artists. That's one of it is Rhea Serrano's help to me, by allowing them to showcase their work in my restaurant as part of my concept for free. Singers, photographers, and painters. As you can see, some of my walls, like every now and then, we're keep changing the frames, the pictures, because that's one way of helping the Filipino photographers and painters. I have also been supporting various political and charitable initiatives for the benefit of the Philippines. As the saying goes from Proverbs, there is one who scatters, yet increases more, and there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. So, it's a Proverbs that will help us to lead the way what you want. Here in the Philippines, I always try to help my fellow Filipinos as much as I can. I am actually single, but singled out of my inspiration from my family, friends, my companies, which are included in my employees, and my charitable foundation. Lastly, continue to have fun in what you're doing. I was always sleeping on my English classes in school, not only English, a lot. And I was born and raised in a region in the Philippines where the international phonetics was unheard of. Why? It's pronounced as J. Example, siya, gawin kong sija, that's me. And K pronounced as H. Luckily, my close friends and work associates who know better never tired to correct me, but only after laughing at me. Anyway, lesson is, don't take yourself too seriously. It's always a challenge in your life. Take it constructively. Take it constructively. Yun ang sinabi ng mother ko. Learn to have fun. After all, at the end of the day, what's the use of working hard if you're not having fun? Tama ba po? I guess I'm right. We're all the same. We work hard. So don't worry if things do not go as you want them to be. That's life. If you choose a purpose, set and pursue your time frames, keep your faith in God and in yourself, share your blessings, and continue to have fun, your life will most likely be deeply rewarding and satisfying. Lastly, ganito ako palagi. I always mention it to all my employees. Huwag kang lumimot sa pinanggalingan, and always keep your feet firm on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, fellow JCs, friends, guests, distinguished speakers. Once again, thank you all for attending tonight's Be Successful, Be Enterprising Entrepreneurship Forum. How are you guys feeling after this inspirational evening? Yes. I'm truly honored and privileged to be serving as the 49th Chapter President of the Junior Chamber International, Philippine, New York. The Junior Chamber International, also known as JCI, is a membership-based nonprofit organization of 200,000 young people ages 18 to 40 in 5,000 communities and more than 100 countries around the world. Our chapter is an affiliate of JCI and was originally chartered in 1963 as the Philippine New York Junior Chamber, JCs. We immediately made history by becoming the first ethnic-based JCs chapter in the world. This year, we chose the chapter theme of Learn, Lead, Live to symbolize the very essence of what it means to be a JC, to constantly learn from our leadership training and live out the JCI mission of creating positive change in our daily lives. This forum was intended to promote a simple idea that all JCs know well, that economic justice can best be won by free men through free enterprise. That's the third line in our JC Creed. On behalf of the chapter, we hope you all had an enjoyable learning experience listening from our esteemed panel of speakers. Your stories are truly inspirational and motivational, and we can see how you live out the JCI mission in creating positive impact in your daily lives. Special thank you to the following for making tonight's forum such a success: the Philippine Consulate, the co-hosts, DCG Testa Vega, thank you. The Philippine Trade and Investment Center, Consul Michelle Sanchez, thank you. Of course, our speakers, Gloria Lewis, Judy Artesh-Carr, Louis Callen, and Cecilia Alamanawan. Our moderator, a JCI Philippine New York member, Ria Serrano. And tonight's forum team, which is comprised of members Win Mandy, Reggie Rosales, Justin Pepito, Chairman of the Board, Brandon Schumacher, Secretary Jose Amrado, and Director Lauren Sandiego. Our chapter supervising officers for tonight's forum are Executive Vice President Bel Molina and the Individual Development Vice President Zoltan Bermudez. And of course, our sponsors who made it possible to offer the light reception after this. Payag Restaurant, Rena Abendula. Your story is truly inspirational, so please let us continue to patronize Payag Restaurant in Woodside, Queens. And Villafer.net, brought to you by another JCI Philippine New York member, Patrick Villafer. And of course, for all of you in attendance this evening, you are also what makes this an success and what makes our chapter continue to do what it does. In line with that, we hope to see you at our upcoming events. Just next week on August 29, we are having Yoga for Young Professionals at the Red Dawn Combat Club in Fresh Meadows, Queens. And coming in September, we have a tennis lesson, our end of the summer picnic, and member orientation. And please, mark your calendars. We have given out flyers for Friday, October 26th, for our Rockstars and Divas of the 80s benefit costume party. All of this information you can find on our website at www.philnewyorkjcs.org. Hopefully you received a flyer or our souvenir pen this evening with our website. All information will be available. Maraming salamat.
On stage, please. Ms. Judy Artesh-Carr would like to share the certificate of appreciation and gift for being part of our amazing group of speakers for tonight.
You are a housewife, whether you are a professional, you set a goal. Normally, you set a goal for the year, but you have also a long-range goal of the next 5 years. Why? Because if you don't know where you're going, how can you get there? So, whatever status you have in life, set your goal for this year. This is my goal. And it's always good to have three things: financial, professional, and spiritual. All right, so start it every year so that at the middle of the year you can trace the head. Where am I here on my financial goal? Where am I here in my professional life and in my spiritual life? So there's always something that you can focus your attention to. For myself, in setting a goal, it seems said that I was a lawyer in the Philippines and that I'm also a lawyer here. But maybe we go first to the start. Why am I here? Again, maybe you know about this. I was here on a tourist visa. I met my husband because I wanted to work. Even if I was a tourist, this was in late 60s, and that's where I met my husband. And so, in 7 months we were married, and we started a family. And he had very ambitious goals, which was to buy his own business, not to start it, but to buy it, and he did. He started with McCall Pattern Company for $22 million on a leverage buyout. That means to say he borrowed all the money, 100%. It was possible in the 1980s. In 3 years, he made it so successful, he was able to sell it for what they call a 90-to-1 return. Meaning to say for every $1, he got $90. So that was pretty good. But back to back, he made a bid for Beatrice International for $1 billion. Again, leverage buyout. He put very little down, and he was able to win the bid of buying a company for $1 billion. And so we lived in Paris. We were living the life of the rich and famous because he had his own jet plane. We had a big apartment in Paris. But then, 5 years after his running company, tragedy struck. He was stricken with cancer, and in 6 weeks he was gone. For those of you who are viewed us, it's the most devastating thing. But I am so glad that we are Filipino. We are Filipino. That I am a Filipina. We were born with faith, and that was the only thing that helped me on. I never blamed God. I knew He was beside me, and so I held on to Him and said, "Help me." And literally, almost holding my hand, He lifted me up. And so I decided at that time that the goal is to finish His work. But first of all, the goal is to get my $2, 19 and 12. Is that correct? Yes. 19 and 12. Okay? I will be their mother and father, so no social life. Them. Focus on them. And thank God, both of them graduated from Harvard, cum laude. And both of them are married to Harvard men. My husband was writing a book, he didn't finish it. So the goal is to finish that book. So I selected somebody to finish it, and he did. It was Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? It was on the bestseller list for several weeks, and it's still being published now. You can order it at Amazon.com. The last one is the company. Initially, the goal is to make it profitable, and because he was the CEO, so we had to find a new CEO. I interviewed a lot, and then I was thinking to myself, this is an African-American company, and I'm going to hire a white person. Not that I have anything against them, but it's sort of like hindi tama. So I said I better run it myself. So I did, and I ran it for 7 years. I had very good people around me, so that's one thing. I didn't know how to run a company. So many of you may be faced with a challenge. Don't back out. Take the challenge. Because magaling tayo. Why? Because we can select people to help us, and that's what I did. And so we worked on it for 7 years, and finally we sold everything. Sold the supermarket business in France, the ice cream business in Spain, in Germany, in Norway, the potato chips company in Ireland, the bottling company in Thailand and in Belgium. And so we had, with the debt, buying it for debt for 1 billion, by the time we finished, we had no more debt, and according to our shareholders, we had a 35% return on investment, IRR. So that was pretty good. So that's the thing, set your goal. The second is order. You must have order, meaning to say a code of ethics, a code of conduct. Why? Because once you start breaking the rules or making shortcuts, doing things illegally, what you think was easy will eventually be very hard. And you're going to have a hard time, and you don't want to spend things in jail. In other words, if you do things, illegally, I'm not saying resourcefulness, that's different. If you do things illegally, okay, you will suffer. Or if you do things unethically, you may not be caught, but your customers will know it, or your people around you will know it. You will attract the same sort of people. If you're dishonest, you'll attract the same sort of people. So in my case, there was a time while my husband was a businessman, I myself said, I'd like to own real estate. At that time, my daughter was 7 years old, I had a baby. My good friend here, Angie Cruz, we went to real estate and bought on the leverage buyout. I didn't have only one, I had 3 buildings while I was working in immigration, having a baby with a husband. So what happened? I had pneumonia. So I was doing too many things. There was no order. At that time, the order should have been my family. I had a growing family. My husband, then my profession. And in fact, somebody told me, Loida, you can have it all, but not all at the same time. Okay, so order in your life. The last secret of success is determination. When you have set something for yourself, you will have people telling you, hindi mo kaya yan, hindi ka pwede, mahirap yan. So, but in your heart, you know that's what you want, then you go after it. You need hard work, and whatever it is that needs to be done, just do it. Because if you don't, it will not come real. Okay, in my own case, when the Supreme Court allowed non-citizen of the United States to take the bar examination, so I took it without, I was still a Filipina, and I knew that I had to pass it. My daughter, Leslie, was just, I think, 1 year old, and I couldn't study. She's there. So I exiled her to Baltimore, where my husband's mother is. And I studied 14, 15, 16 hours a day. My husband then was agreeable, no cooking. Okay, in order. Okay, 80 hours a week. And I did pass it the first time. And so many other things. So in your own life, when there's something that you want within your heart, work hard, and then always ask questions. They've always said here, networking, ask questions. What are you doing? Get calling cards, and every night, file it away, because you never know when you need them. So those are the 3 secrets of success in my life. I'm sharing it to you. The first is goal setting, G. The second is order and code of ethics. And the third is determination. So if you put them together, G-O-D, that spells God. So it's easy to remember. Why? Because we are people of faith. If you go after something and you are holding on to God, it is difficult to go very wrong. You know, you're on a straight path, even if it's crooked. And I'd like to end with my favorite verse. It's a proverb, Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take. Thank you.
We have a couple.
Challenges, it's interesting how many times I hear people are surprised of what I've achieved because I'm Filipina. It's almost, and I realize those are usually people who are from Europe or Hong Kong. And it's largely because there's a lot of domestic help there. And they look upon Filipinos as who they are. That's their introduction to them. I've met people whose introduction to Filipinos are their nannies. So sometimes when that's the only exposure to Filipinos other people have, they're surprised. Not to say that it's a bad thing. On my end, I took it as a challenge, and it was great that I felt like I could represent and change their opinions of Filipinos. So to some degree, sometimes you run into prejudice, or people sometimes doubt that you could accomplish what you set, the goals that you've set. But that exists anywhere. There's stereotypes everywhere, whether you're a single parent or you're a person of color or you come from a poor background, and it's up to you to set up your own path and make sure that you basically just push away any doubts anybody has and have strength and faith in yourself to push forward. So that's, I think, the pro about being Filipino, is to be the ability to go with your inner strength and your faith, as Loida has said, and not just faith in God, but faith in yourself, and will yourself to achieve your goals.
Thank you. How about Ms. Judy?
Frankly, most of the time I've never thought of myself as, I never thought of myself as Filipino when I deal with other people. I'm me, and I have my ethnicity accepted, except for one time, and I didn't even realize it because I just said, okay, I'm Judy, whether I'm Filipino or etc. And people were making fun of me actually when they had conference calls because they were guessing where I was coming from. They couldn't tell. Some of them thought I was European, some of them thought I was... One of them was able to say I was Filipino. The one thing when I realized that I was Filipino was when I was sent to Hong Kong by Salomon Brothers. And at that time, I just took for granted, having a green card, not applying for US citizenship. But when I got at immigration, they were questioning me. It's like, what is this? Because I didn't realize there were a lot of household help in Hong Kong, so the respect for Filipinos was not there at all. Of course, I got furious about the HR department because otherwise I would have. So then I realized that, okay, I better even within Hong Kong and the investment bank, I wanted to reverse that image and tell them, this is like, not to demean the household help, but it's like they're valuable commodity or resource, but that's not all what we are. So that's one part of, and that's the challenge that I thought that was there in them. However, don't think of it as a challenge, just let them know that you're one powerful person.
Can I ask the same to Louie? Again, the question is, what are the challenges faced by Filipinos, being Filipinos, or any advantages?
Well, to my industry, the only challenge is when you start, like me, I grew up in the Philippines, so I'm not used to speaking English all the time. So so you can really tell that, oh, you're from somewhere. So, pero lakasan lang ng loob. So I block myself from those kind of things. You have to be really conscious. Just speak, just see how like Japanese when they speak. It's not straight English. So then, other than that, so far I knew that there's some kind of issue there. So what I do every time I meet like an American, I just want to like sell myself a little bit to gain the respect right away. I just want to do the first punch, and when I see that expression in his face, then I get his respect. So then I do a lot of ways to do that, from other than like of course you have to show your skills. When I first joined the Barker DZB, they were so amazing. Oh, this guy that can do everything. Instead of hiring 5 people, he can do like from TV, print, radio, like internet, like here we have to hire this and that to do this. So they were so amazed, like, oh, it's worth it. And they're not paying that much before. And I was like, for me, I was just there for the first, of course, I need to get my work visa. So it's all about leveraging when to give up and when to give in, when to negotiate. So yeah, after a year, I moved to another company. I was able to get the desired salary that I want. I just need to start somewhere. Then now I'm coming back with the same company at a different level. It works for me before with TBAA. Now I'm doing the same process. The owner of the agency look at me different level now. He's treating me as like, now we're planning to do a new startup. From that one to the other, like, so it's more just like leveraging and having the respect.
Thank you so much, Louie. How about Miss Louise?
Yeah, Filipinos, we are very, very meaning to say, any kind of group of people, we are comfortable and we become friends with everyone in our workplace. We are well loved because they know we work hard. We have malasakit. We are patient. We are long-suffering, and we treat everybody like they are family. So most of the time, we are well loved. The disadvantage is that we are not ambitious enough. We are scared almost that something we cannot handle. So to that extent, it is a disadvantage because we are not convinced that we are good. So in my case, a little bit like Judy, I don't go around saying I'm Filipino, I'm a woman. You're convinced of your own. We are all equal in the eyes of God. So it's not. I have never had a feeling of inferiority or superiority. We are all children of God, and I think that's a good place to start. And many Filipinos, I think, feel that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Are we talking about the same thing? Or?
Okay. You want to do business in the Philippines, not
yeah,
here.
let's just say you wanna sell stuff here. That's
Wait.
there.
You have to be clear. Do you want to do business in New York, or do you want to do business in the Philippines?
My company would be an American company doing business in the Philippines. Yeah, like products from the Philippines sold here.
I see.
So, how we got through the red tape, I understand. The Philippines
Okay.
is like...
There is the Commission on Filipino Overseas that is headed by Imelda Nicolas. Okay? And I'll give you the information. So, you write it out and you send it to her. And then she will give you to the proper Department of Trade and Industry. Okay? Huh?
Trade is here.
The trade is here. Okay. Well, here is the trade commissioner. She's wonderful. But I have to warn you, if you're going to do business in the Philippines, you have to be personally be attentive. You cannot leave it to brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, best friends. Okay? So very personally attentive to it. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is a question for Ms. Judy and HCAR. I'd like to know your goals of expanding your business. What are your plans and to make your business grow farther?
And our
also for Ms. Pagkalinaw.
I just expanded my business last month actually. I have a partner who has a company that's been there for 10 years already and does a lot of consulting within the US. But what I bring to the table is being a minority-owned women company here in the US, as well as bringing my global alliances in the different countries, especially the Philippines, of course, in offshoring and global sourcing. So if you're interested, talk to me after this, and I can help you with whatever you need to do.
So the growth plans for Style Trek is basically, as I launched it in September of 2010 during New York Fashion Week. The goal is to continue to increase designers, to continue to expand to other countries, and to be able to do that, we have to raise additional capital, so I have to raise probably another $4 million from the original 1.5 that I raised 2 years ago, and hire more people and continue to do the marketing that we've started. So, so it's a challenge, and it's really difficult to, as Leda had said, you can have it all but not at the same time, because one of the reasons why I kind of pushed aside Style Trek last year and decided.
Okay, we're here. This is Paul Sakis, Good News Planet. We're here at the Filipino consulate. The best of the Philippines on Fifth Avenue, fashion and entrepreneurship, Dalaga. And it says here, Dalaga's beginnings are rooted in the Philippines, where sisters and owners Mary and Michelle Mangelman's parents were born and raised. Our parents never let us forget where we came from, and they really instilled in us a warm, welcoming, and hard-working spirit of the Filipino people, says Michelle. The spirit plus the magic of the mother's closet led Mary and Michelle down the road to fashion design. Since they can remember, the inseparable twosome played dress-up and shop in their mother's closet. Looking back on our childhood, it makes perfect sense that this is what we were destined to do, says Mary. They tapped into their Filipino roots, were searching for the meaningful names for their new line, chose Dalaga, a Philippine term for lady, a word affectionately used by their father when referring to his daughters as they grew up. All right, so there's a little more going on here. They have a thriving business and running around in Greenpoint. Okay. In 2006, they opened their first shop on 150 Franklin Street in Brooklyn, New York. After 6 years, 2 kids, they opened their second store on 85 Kenmore Street in Soho, and still the home of Dalaga. Mary and Michelle Mangelman invite you to experience Dalaga, and your dressing room awaits. Manila Fame, the design and lifestyle event, Manila Now, Cebu Next Bijou, October 17th to the 20th and March 14th, 17th at the SMX Convention Center in Metro Philippines. The craftsmen hands work the materials in the language of their own, men and women working with rattan, buri tinalak, bamboo, abaska, shell, and paper in a language that is simple and interlaced with silences, where they share the passion for their craft. This is the word of the hand. The art of the craftsman equals the soul of the Philippines. This theme is brought to life through Manila Fame, an event that showcases design for living by returning true craftsmanship for beauty. ManilaFame.com